When Ashlyn sat me down that Monday evening, I already knew something was wrong. People don't use that tone unless they're about to pull the floor out from under you. She folded her hands, avoided my eyes, and said the sentence everyone dreads. We need to talk about us. She told me she needed space, that she had to explore who she was without being in a relationship. I didn't argue. Breakups happen. I'm 31, not a teenager. I nodded, accepted it, even wished her well. Then she added the part she clearly rehearsed. The lease is in my name, she said calmly, so I'll be keeping the apartment. You'll need to move out by the end of the month. I blinked. So, you're breaking up with me and kicking me out? She smiled like she was explaining something obvious. I'm not kicking you out. I'm just exercising my legal right. It's nothing personal. Nothing personal. She said it while sitting on a couch I paid for, in front of a TV I bought, drinking coffee from a machine that came out of my bank account. I asked the question anyway. What about the furniture, the TV, all the stuff I bought? She laughed, actually laughed. It's in the apartment, so it stays with the apartment. Don't be petty, Rylan. It's just furniture. I looked around the place we'd called home, the sectional couch, the dining table, the kitchen appliances she used every single day, even the shower curtain, all mine. Paid for when she was between jobs, when I covered the deposit, the first month's rent, and furnished the entire place because her credit was good and mine was recovering from medical debt. I nodded slowly. Makes sense. Her shoulders relaxed. She smiled, relieved. I knew you'd be mature about this. That smile stayed on her face when she kissed my forehead before leaving for work the next morning. A soft, patronizing kiss. Like I was a child who'd accepted punishment without a tantrum. She had no idea that the moment her car left the parking lot, I stopped being hurt and started being precise. I took a sick day, made one phone call. Jackson, I said, I need your biggest truck. Today. There was a pause. Everything okay, bro? Ashlyn's keeping the apartment, I replied evenly, so I'm taking everything that belongs to me. He didn't ask another question. By 10 a.m., the truck was outside. I had receipts laid out on the counter, sorted, dated, itemized. I've always been meticulous like that. Funny how that habit suddenly mattered. We started with the obvious. Couch, TV, stand, dining table, chairs, bedroom furniture, my office setup, monitor after monitor. Then I really thought about her words. Everything in the apartment stays with the apartment. Fine. Let's define everything. The espresso machine, the blender, microwave, air fryer, pots, pans, dishes, every fork, rugs, curtains, smart bulbs, router, thermostat, swapped back to the original one I'd kept in storage, even the nice hangers from the closet. I left the wire ones. By 2 in the afternoon, the place looked like a model unit before staging. Empty walls, bare floors, silence. I folded her clothes neatly and placed them where the bed used to be. Left the mattress. It was hers from before we met. I wasn't cruel. I was exact. Before locking up, I placed the keys on the kitchen counter. Took one last look around. No damage. No mess. Just absence. At 5 p.m., I sent one text. Moved out as requested. Keys are on the counter. She replied minutes later. Thanks for being mature about this. I didn't respond. At 6:47 p.m., my phone exploded. What the hell did you do? Where is everything? This is theft. I'm calling the police. 23 missed calls followed, then a voicemail, screaming, shaking, unhinged. You took everything. There's nothing here. Not even a fork. Where am I supposed to sleep? I texted once. Just once. I took my belongings as requested. The apartment is all yours. Enjoy exploring who you are. That night, the police knocked on my new door, and that's when things truly started to unravel. The knock came at 9:03 p.m. Not a polite knock, a firm official one, the kind that carries authority. I checked the doorbell camera, one of the first things I'd installed at the new place, and saw 2 police officers standing outside my studio apartment. I opened the door calmly. Sir, the younger officer said, We received a report of stolen property. I nodded. I was expecting that. They exchanged a look. The older one raised an eyebrow. You were? Yes, officer. Please come in. I didn't rush. I didn't argue. I didn't panic. I walked to my desk and pulled out a neatly organized folder. Receipts, text messages, screenshots, even timestamps from the doorbell camera showing every item being moved. During daylight, peacefully, with movers. She told me to vacate the apartment, I explained evenly. I did, and I took my belongings with me. I handed over my phone. The younger officer scrolled through the texts. The apartment is mine. You need to move out. Everything in the apartment stays with the apartment. The older cop let out a short chuckle. Sir, he said, handing my phone back, you can't steal your own property. So, that's it? I asked. This is a civil matter, he replied. If she believes she owns those items, she can take it to small claims. They left less than 5 minutes later. Ashlyn called immediately after, screaming, accusing me of manipulating the police. I didn't say a word. I blocked her number. I thought that would be the end of it. It wasn't. The next morning, I got a call from the apartment complex. The building manager, Mr. Patterson, sounded tense. Rylan, we need to discuss the condition of the apartment. My stomach tightened. Is there damage? No, he said after a pause. Actually, it's in excellent condition. Better than most move-outs. Then what's the issue? Miss Ashlyn is claiming you stole fixtures. I exhaled slowly. I replaced everything I installed with the originals. Thermostat, blinds, hardware. I kept the originals in storage. There was silence on the line. You kept them? He asked. They belong to the apartment, I replied. I wouldn't take what isn't mine. Another pause. Then quietly, I have to say, I've never seen anyone document a move like this. That was when the tables turned. Instead of charging me, management reminded Ashlyn of something important. Since the lease was solely in her name, she was responsible for the unit in full. Any missing items, any unpaid rent, any damages. She didn't like that. By Thursday, the smear campaign started. She unblocked me just long enough to send screenshots of her social media posts. Some men can't handle rejection. Imagine being so petty you strip an apartment bare. Narcissistic abuse is real. Her friends piled on. Comments full of sympathy, praise, rage on her behalf. So I posted 3 things. 1, a photo of receipts totaling over $15,000. 2, a screenshot of her text. Everything in the apartment stays with the apartment. 3, a picture of my new place, fully furnished, captioned, when she keeps the apartment, but you keep everything else. My post spread faster than hers ever did. People love justice. Friday morning, a new number texted me. It was her friend Malin. Ashlyn is sleeping on my couch, you know, she wrote. She has nothing. How could you do this? She has her clothes, her mattress, I replied. I took what I paid for. You even took the coffee maker. I bought the coffee maker. This isn't normal, she snapped. Couples split things. She told me everything stayed with the apartment, I answered, then clarified that meant my stuff too. I disagreed. Her final message read, "You're a monster. She's going to sue you." Cool, I typed back. I have receipts. An hour later, her mother called. Darlene. I'd always liked her. She'd been kind to me. Rylan, she said gently. What happened? Ashlyn is hysterical. I told her the truth, calmly. Fact by fact, there was a long silence. Discuss the condition of the apartment. Do it, Ashlyn sneered. I'll tell them you robbed me. So I did. When the officers arrived, everything unraveled fast. Receipts, texts, proof. The 2 men, her cousins, looked at Ashlyn like they were seeing her clearly for the first time. They apologized to me before leaving. Ashlyn didn't say a word as she waited for an Uber. Standing alone on the sidewalk, and that was only the beginning of what she was about to lose. By Monday, the story had outgrown both of us. I woke up to messages from people I hadn't spoken to in years. Friends of friends, co-workers, even distant relatives. asking if that post was about me. Ashlyn's narrative was collapsing under the weight of evidence, and the harder she tried to hold it together, the more cracks appeared. That morning, my phone rang again, an unfamiliar name. "Hey, Rylan, it's Brielle." I pause. Brielle had been Ashlyn's close friend, the one she'd planned to move in after I was gone. "I need to ask you something," Brielle said carefully. "Did Ashlyn have a furnished apartment when you met her?" "No," I replied. "She was living with her parents." There was a long exhale on the other end. "She told me the place came fully furnished, that she was doing me a favor by letting me move in. She said she was going to charge me extra rent for it." That explained a lot. I told Brielle the truth, every piece of it. By the end of the call, she was quiet. "Thank you for telling me," she said finally. "I'm not moving in, and I'm going to let people know what she was planning." She did more than that. Word spread fast. Ashlyn's friend group started shrinking in real time. The sympathy posts slowed, then stopped. Tuesday afternoon, I was served with court papers. Small claims court, claims of theft, emotional distress, loss of peaceful enjoyment of residence, damages requested, $20,000, more than I'd even spent. I sent the documents to a lawyer friend of mine. He called me 10 minutes later laughing. "She has no case," and he said, "You have receipts, texts, video, police reports. This is going to be embarrassing for her." But before court day arrived, something else happened. The apartment complex called me again. Mr. Patterson sounded uncomfortable. "I'm not really supposed to share this," he said, "but Miss Ashlyn hasn't paid rent." "That was due before I moved out," I replied. "Exactly, she's blaming you. Claims you stole her money by taking the furniture." I almost laughed. And she's been served a pay or quit notice. I thanked him for the heads up. I didn't have to wait long for the fallout. Thursday evening, Darlene called again. Her voice was tired this time. "Rylan, Ashlyn is being evicted." "That's unfortunate." "She says it's because you took everything. Rent costs the same whether the apartment is furnished or not," I said gently. There was a pause. Then something that made my grip tighten on the phone. "She quit her job," Darlene admitted. 2 weeks before the breakup, she said she was going to manifest her dream life. The pieces clicked together so cleanly it almost hurt. "She expected me to keep paying rent," I said slowly. "Didn't she?" Darlene didn't deny it. "She thought you'd leave the furniture and still cover your half until she found herself." I exhaled. Why would I pay rent on an apartment I was kicked out of? "That's what I asked her," Darlene said. "She said it was your responsibility as a man." Even her own mother sounded disgusted. Court day arrived 3 weeks after the breakup. Ashlyn showed up in a tailored suit, overdone and theatrical. I wore khakis and a polo, calm, clean, boring. The judge reviewed the case. Ashlyn went first. Tears, big words, talk of betrayal and emotional trauma. "We built a life together," she said. "He stripped the apartment bare to punish me." The judge looked up. "Were you married?" "No." "Any written agreement about shared property?" "No." My lawyer stood next. "Your Honor, my client has receipts totaling $15,247, text messages instructing him to vacate, video footage of a peaceful move, police reports confirming no crime." The judge turned to Ashlyn. "Did you tell him the apartment was yours and he needed to leave?" "Yes." "And did you say everything in the apartment stays with the apartment?" Ashlyn hesitated. "Yes." "Case dismissed," the judge said. "Defendant removed his personal property from a residence he was told to vacate. Plaintiff is responsible for court costs." Ashlyn broke down. "This isn't fair," she cried. The judge didn't look at her. "You left yourself with nothing when you assumed someone else's property was yours. Next case." Outside the courtroom, Darlene walked past her own daughter and stopped in front of me. "I'm sorry," she said quietly. "You didn't deserve this." Ashlyn stared at her in disbelief, and in that moment I knew this was never about furniture. It was about entitlement, and it was finally being exposed. 2 months passed after the court ruling, and silence settled in where chaos used to live. No more police calls, no more threats, no more desperate messages from unknown numbers. When someone loses every card they thought they were holding, there's nothing left to play. Ashlyn got evicted exactly 3 weeks after the case was dismissed. She moved back into her parents' house, the same childhood bedroom she once swore she'd never return to. Her manifesting phase ended quickly when reality demanded rent money. Her parents made her get a job at a call center and charged her rent. No exceptions. Ironically, she tried to keep up appearances. Dating apps, carefully angled photos, old pictures taken in my furnished apartment, cropped just right to look successful. That illusion lasted about a week. Someone recognized the place. The comment was brutal and public. "Isn't this the apartment you tried to keep after forcing your boyfriend out and got stripped empty?" The replies tore through her profile like wildfire. Screenshots spread. The account disappeared overnight. Brielle didn't move in. In fact, she told the whole friend group what Ashlyn had planned, charging extra rent for furniture she didn't own. Most of them backed away quietly. Malin still defended her, but even she refused to let Ashlyn crash long-term. Sympathy dries up when patterns become clear. One afternoon, I got a message from the new tenants at the old apartment. They'd found my name on old mail. "Hey," they wrote, "this place is beautiful, but completely empty. Do you know what happened?" I sent them the link to the post. They replied, "Best apartment drama we've ever read." I laughed harder than I probably should have. Meanwhile, my life stabilized in ways I hadn't expected. The studio felt small at first, but it was peaceful. Everything in it belonged to me. Every chair, every plate, every light. No tension, no entitlement. Just quiet. Work noticed the difference. Less stress, more focus. I got promoted within a month. And then there was Sienna. She owned her own furniture, paid her own bills. Never once talked about manifesting rent. The first time she came over, she looked around my place and smiled. "It feels solid," she said, "like a real home." That meant more to me than she knew. Ashlyn tried one last time to break the silence. A text from a new number. "I know you hate me," it read, "but you really hurt me. I thought we were building something together." I stared at it for a long moment before replying. "We were," I wrote. "Then you decided to keep what we built and push me out. How did that work out for you?" Her response came fast. "You're heartless." I blocked the number. A week later, one of her cousins, the guy who'd shown up at my door, reached out. He apologized properly this time, said Ashlyn had told the family I was abusive and stole from her. Seeing the receipts and texts changed everything. Apparently, he admitted, this isn't the first time she's done something like this. That explained why she'd been so confident it would work. The most unexpected message came 6 months later. LinkedIn, from her father, Raymond. "Rylan," he wrote, "I wanted to apologize personally. We've seen the receipts, the texts. I'm ashamed of how my daughter treated you. We've made her get therapy, and she's not allowed to date until she can support herself independently for a full year." He paused, then added, "She asked us to buy her new furniture. We told her to check Facebook Marketplace. She said that was beneath her. She's currently using a lawn chair and a cardboard box as a desk." I read that message twice, then I replied simply, "I hope she learns from this." A few days later, Sienna and I drove past the old apartment complex by coincidence. Ashlyn was in the parking lot with her mother, arguing with the building manager, begging, pointing, pleading. She saw my car. Her face lit up with recognition. She waved frantically. I waved back and kept driving. That night, Sienna asked me if I regretted taking everything. I shook my head. The only thing I regret is not seeing her face when she walked into that empty apartment. She laughed, then added, "Remind me never to cross you." "Just don't try to keep an apartment you didn't pay for," I said, "and claim my stuff as yours." Deal. Looking back, the whole ordeal cost me about $1,000 in moving expenses and legal advice. Worth every cent, because the lesson was priceless. You can't build a future on entitlement. You can't claim ownership over what you didn't earn. And if someone tells you to leave but expects to keep your things, believe them on the leaving part. Take your dignity, take your receipts, and take everything that belongs to you. The espresso machine still makes incredible coffee. Every morning when I use it, I think about how she's probably drinking instant coffee in her parents' house, and I smile. Because karma doesn't need revenge. It just needs documentation. If this story resonated with you, remember, self-respect is worth more than any apartment, and boundaries matter. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Every click helps us bring more real stories to life.